Thank you for choosing to watch this video. I should be tying a simple spider pattern with a Picric dyed hare's ear body and a hackle from the neck of a cock pheasant. Start by mounting your hook in the vise and checking the hook and the hold. Catch on your thread. Here I'm using Semperfli's classic wax thread in 12 knot. Trim off the waist, and then I'm going to start by catching in the rib just to keep the profile slim, which is not really necessary with this thread, it's so thin anyway. Catch it on and form your underbody down to just beyond the point of the hook. Take your time, make sure the thread's caught on the underside, and here I'll just take the thread back up to the front and make sure I've covered all the hook shank, and take it back down in open turns to avoid too much bulk. Next you want to get some of your dubbing fur. I'm taking this from a hare's mask I dyed myself using some of Semperfli's picric acid solution. Just pull off some of the fur from about the midpoint of the ear. You don't need too much. And I've got a decent clump in my fingers there, you just want to dub it on quite sparsely to start with. And dampen your fingers to help you get it started. Spread it out so you've got a fine dubbing noodle. Tighten it up. Add a little bit more. Just be careful as always not to add too much dubbing. You can always add more as you go. Start winding it on, and once it's caught on, tighten up the noodle up again. Make sure you've covered all the thread, and slowly form your body, trying to introduce a nice bit of a taper to it. Adding more dubbing as you go, as needed. It's worth taking your time and making sure you're happy with the spread of the fur and that it's even. And if you're not happy with how it's sitting, you can always go back a turn or two and even it out. Keep in mind you want to leave enough space to get your hackle on after, but you don't want to leave too much space that you have quite too big a head on the fly. Not quite happy with the way that was sitting, there was too much bulk there and a bit of a lump formed, so take it back, tighten up the dubbing noodle again a little. And that's sitting a bit neater. So I just brought the thread to the front of the dubbing and then wind the rib in open even turns. And catch in at the behind the eye of the hook. Catch in with a couple of other turns. And helicopter off the waist end. The next is the feather from the neck of a cock pheasant. I've got another one I've prepared by stripping half the bar wheels off and the fluff. You'll note I got it a little bit tight on the stock, but I should be able to make this one work. Catch in by the tip fold back, tie down to make sure it's nice and secure and won't pull out when we wind the hackle. Isolate the tip and tweak off the waist. Hold your thread tight to make sure nothing slips. Then use your hackle pliers to catch the end of the stalk and wind a nice sparsous hackle. A turn and a half or 2 turns should be fine. We don't want the hackle to be too heavy on this fly. Catch in with a couple of turns of thread, fold everything back and secure, trying not to trap any barbules going forward. Take your time and try and make sure any stray fibres are pulled backwards as well to keep the head of the fly nice and neat. So it's a bit tricky to isolate the waist end here because it was so short. But that's it there, so if we can get the hackle pliers onto it, I should be able to tweak it out. Now to whip finish. A 3-turn whip finish should be strong enough to hold this fly. Trim off your thread. There's a little stray fibre pointing forward, so I should be able to tweak that out with the hackle pliers. And then check that everything's sitting where you want it and nicely. Little brush out with a toothbrush or maybe some Velcro, pulls out some of the hair in the body and makes sure the hackle's sitting nicely. Then all it remains is to varnish the head of the fly. Here I'm using some clear bone dry resin from Solarez. As always, taking care not to get too much resin into any of the hackle or the body. And a quick zap with the UV lamp. And that's the fly finished. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please drop it a like and subscribe to my channel. Any comments and feedback are always welcome.